delicious.
So, you've learned how to loot stuff, shoot stuff, and protect yourself and feel like it's time to step your game up. Probably thinking, I know, I'll play with my friends and show off my talents as the PUBG god I think I am. But something happens. You squad up with your friends or some random players and immediately realize that all that time you spent playing by yourself isn't what you thought it would be. If you think playing aggressively and trying to make plays without keeping your team in mind, then this is why you suck at PUBG. No, he's healing. Go. Winning games in squads comes down to two things: cohesion and communication. It's no secret why the same teams in the NPL either win or place at the top of the bracket in most of these tournaments. It's because they understand the importance of both of these things and how imperative it is to work together at all stages of the game. In squads specifically, keeping everyone alive does more than provide a numbers advantage, but largely provides a tactical advantage against other teams, and this is where communication plays the biggest part in all of this. Since the launch of Apex Legends, the game has gotten quite a bit of praise for its smart/dynamic ping system. This is huge in the BR game because it means the developers understand and encourage strong squad communication. So much so that they put the effort into streamlining this process for you as a player in order to better your chances of success. Unfortunately, PUBG isn't offered the same luxury and puts the onus of communication on the players themselves. Now, there isn't anything objectively wrong with this, but it does mean that you, as a player in a team environment, are giving more responsibilities to communicate and work with your team. With that said, all the tools for solid squad communication are readily available to you at every moment throughout the game. Several examples of this are things like your on-screen compass and its ping system, calling out enemy players with their distances, location, and the direction in which they are moving, or even pointing out things like open doors or misplaced vehicles that might allude to potential threats to you and your squad. Starting with your initial drop, you should be using this opportunity to look around and inform your teammates of potential threats in a couple of ways. Letting them know if anyone is landing with you and how many, as well as where in relation to you they are landing. This provides some much needed context to the looting phase because it informs your team as to the manner in which they should be looting. If you land with other players, then the priority on the team becomes acquiring weapons and gear to become combat ready as soon as possible. The next thing you should be focusing on is ensuring everyone is being set up for success. What I mean by this is, while you're looting, be calling out weapons and gear and attachments so that by the time you leave your initial drop, most if not all of your team is prepared to move on and take fights should they come up. On the flip side, this is also the opportunity where you should be communicating what things you need to complete your kit. By applying the many hands make light work mentality, you can greatly reduce the amount of time everyone spends looking for things when everyone is on the same page as to what everyone needs throughout the game. Everything up to this point is relatively easy in regards to working together as a successful team. It's typically in the mid to late game where things begin to start falling apart for most squads. I believe one big reason for this is the act before you think mistake a lot of players make. This is typically perpetrated by one or two players acting without the team's best interests in mind, either by separating yourselves too far away from your team or engaging in fights without providing any information to your teammates prior to doing so. What typically happens in either of these scenarios is that your team is now forced into a situation they might not have been prepared for, or put in harm's way, compromising your team's position and tasked with being reactive instead of proactive. Most teams will find their success when they play proactively instead of reactively. The issue escalates though when your team is constantly having to react to every situation you put them in, ostensibly feeling like you're always playing catch up and never getting ahead of said situations. Properly communicating what you're doing and what you see before you do anything helps to not only ensure that you have the strength and numbers going into a fight, but also protect the team through preparedness. At every point in the game, there are always moments in which you should be communicating and working as a unit. While having someone as a main shot caller might be encouraged, their decisions should be both informed and agreed upon by the team. This goes back to a point in my previous videos about playing within your ability. It's important to make calls or choices that benefit the team by playing to your strengths and ensuring everyone is being set up for success. At the end of the day, a squad will always be strongest when it works together. Wanting to make big plays or take crazy shots for your highlight reel isn't going to get you anywhere if it's not done so to benefit the team. PUBG has always been a game about risk versus reward, and in most cases, risky plays or taking low success shots typically hurt your team by granting the other team's information that should otherwise be mitigated. Good teams will tell you that making good callouts and working through decisions together make for a much better experience than constantly having to back up one guy who thinks he can take on other teams by himself, or at the very least, thinks he's immune to these risks because he has other players to help him. This type of player will never benefit from team play because playing with a team means playing for the team and not for yourself.